My name's Linda Arthurson, and with Leanne Reynolds, we're two of the teaching and learning coaches who are working with these two schools as well as 3 other schools as part of the Heidelberg Regeneration Project. And if you've heard the spiel before, because we've just done a little bit of a background intro at each of the days when our schools have been presenting. So you can see that these are the schools that are involved. Excuse me. The project, Heidelberg Regeneration Project, is along the way, not quite as far along as the Broadmeadows project, but we are in master planning stage, looking at developing new schools with the Prep to 12 on the Latrobe secondary site, a Birth to 4 annex on the Olympic Village site, and a 10 to 13 plus school on the Northland site. One of the things that, one of the things that I think is particularly interesting, and with the Numeracy Day today, is that we're also developing one of the new specialist science and maths centres, one of the 3 new ones. And so the work that the schools are doing as part of the AIZ, and particularly with the numeracy, will be really important in the new school that will have one of these specialist maths science centres there. This just sort of shows how, as a project in a group of schools, we've actually taken the different aspects of the AIZ, as well as the work with the literacy specialists that we have in a number of the schools, and the teaching and learning coaches, to support the project. I'm not going to go through. Individual schools are using it in individual ways still, but mainly what I just wanted to focus on just for a minute was how, as a project, we're using it to develop common language for improvement across the 5 schools, and in the development of a common approach to teaching and learning that we see as being really important to have sort of the groundwork and the framework done before we actually all come together in the new school. So the project overall has provided that focus for the development of teaching and learning. The learning leaders from the 5 schools are involved in the focus group, teaching and learning focus group, and have done a lot of work in bringing things along in terms of a common approach. They've also been involved in common PD days, and in our last one, towards the end of last term, our learning leaders presented workshops for the staff across the 5 schools in the different areas of the AIZ. And the schools that you're hearing from today actually did present together on that PD day, and presented a 2-hour numeracy workshop that was really well received by the teachers who were involved there. So that's, I think, all I want to say. So I'll hand it over to the team from Haig Street, Chris and Melissa, and Jeff from Northland.
Hi, well, I'm Chris and this is Melissa. We're the Haig Street team. We're going to tell you a little bit about our journey so far. So first of all, what was happening prior to 2008 when we became involved? We had started really looking a bit more carefully at our AIM and PAT maths data, which showed us that our children weren't performing as well as we'd like them to. Now, previous to this time, we were more concerned with our literacy. Our numeracy didn't look too bad, we thought, but on looking at it more carefully, even though the kids were achieving at what we thought wasn't too bad, the value added wasn't as good as it should have been. They weren't making big enough gains. So that was one thing we'd found out. There were various teaching approaches across the school, where you could walk into one school and find someone using worksheets, walk into another one and find real-life tasks and open-ended questions. So it wasn't consistent. Then we do have a fairly high proportion of Somali children who a lot of them attend tutoring sessions, which rely very much on worksheets of written algorithms. That's what the community perceives as maths and as maths learning, or as numeracy learning. So that was another issue we had. We were conducting the early numeracy interviews. We were doing that in prep when they entered, and also in November the prep 1-2s were all doing the interviews. Then we decided, the maths committee at that time decided that we would try and address what was happening, and one of the things we did, we organised for some PD with Mick Weimer, where he provided a new approach to planning and more of a focus on real-life tasks. Part of that was we had staff PD, we also had a parent night or a parent session. The other thing we did there was we built up Mick Weimer maths tubs, or as we call Mick Weimer maths tubs, for each classroom, so that all the things that you need every day are there: counters, streamers, calculators, everything's there and on hand for us. So that was what was happening before we became involved.